delicate white fish are pulled from warm, tropical waters and rushed into icy silence, wrapped, chilled, and sealed with precision. Even a slight shift in temperature can spoil the entire catch, yet this fish reaches kitchens across continents, untouched by time. How is that possible? What invisible systems keep it fresh from farm to fork? Stay with us and discover the brilliance behind one of the world's most carefully shipped foods. In the early morning stillness of a Northern Territory aquaculture farm, the air vibrates with anticipation. Under pale pink skies, workers move with quiet urgency along floating pontoons. Beneath them, thousands of barramundi swirl in netted enclosures, their silver bodies flickering like submerged coins. It's harvest day, and every second counts. With a signal from the supervisor, the team lowers large scooping nets into the pens. Fish are hauled from the water, their gills flaring in sudden air. They are immediately transferred into tanks filled with super-chilled ice slurry, a numbing bath that humanely renders them unconscious in seconds, while preserving the texture of their meat. From here, the fish are rushed to an on-site processing facility. Workers, clad in waterproof aprons and hairnets, begin the meticulous task of gutting, cleaning, and inspecting each barramundi by hand. It's not just about freshness, it's about visual perfection. Any bruising, gill damage, or scale loss can downgrade the fish's export grade. Once processed, the fillets are packed into insulated crates lined with gel ice packs and thermal blankets. For high-end markets, vacuum sealing is common. For others, the fish may be frozen solid, using blast chillers within the hour. But the farm is only the first domino. In regions like the Mekong Delta, where roads narrow into dirt paths and power outages are frequent, keeping the cold chain intact becomes an act of ingenuity. Some farms deploy small diesel-powered freezers mounted on tuk-tuks or use solar panels to run refrigeration units in areas without electricity. The insulated containers, loaded onto flatbed trucks, are equipped with portable temperature sensors that transmit live data to logistics coordinators. A rise of even 1 degree above zero can trigger an emergency alert. The fish must be redirected to the nearest backup freezer facility within hours to prevent spoilage. The transport route varies by geography. In Australia, barramundi from inland farms may travel hundreds of kilometers by road before reaching Darwin or Cairns. In India, shipments pass through a web of rural depots where logistical handovers must be swift and precise. In Vietnam, boats ferry boxed fish along winding rivers before they are transferred to trucks bound for Ho Chi Minh City. Across all these regions, the goal remains constant: to move fresh barramundi from farm to port without breaking the cold chain. At the export terminal, final inspections are conducted. Customs officials check paperwork, detailing harvest times, ice retention methods, and sanitation standards. Containers are sealed, tagged with barcodes, and scanned into tracking systems. For air shipments, barramundi are often loaded onto pallets and flown within hours, sometimes still partially frozen, to minimize thawing during the flight. For ocean freight, the fish are stowed in refrigerated containers, called reefers, that maintain a near-zero internal temperature for weeks. From harvest to port, every decision is calibrated to the minute. A delay at a checkpoint, a mechanical failure in a chiller unit, or even traffic congestion can undo the careful work of dozens of people. Yet, despite these fragilities, millions of fish make it from pond to packaging with astonishing efficiency. And while the logistics are rigorous, the human stories remain at the heart of it. Like Ms. Lan in Vietnam, who's worked the filleting line for 12 years, or Raju in southern India, who drives a freezer truck he affectionately calls the rolling iceberg. Their labor and precision form the invisible hands that guide the fish toward its next destination. Still, this delicate ballet is only one half of the equation. Beyond the harvest and initial transport lies an even greater challenge: navigating a world where temperature, time, and international borders must all be conquered to ensure a single piece of fish arrives fresh and flawless. Inside a refrigerated shipping container bound for Europe, the air is dry, cold, and filled with the low hum of machinery. Nestled in vacuum-sealed packs, Barramundi fillets rest side by side in crates arranged with mathematical precision. Their environment is carefully maintained between -1 and 0 degrees Celsius. A shift of even 1 degree in either direction can cause catastrophic spoilage. If temperatures rise, bacterial growth accelerates. If they fall too low, the delicate cell structures of the fish flesh can rupture, damaging its texture. It's a fine balance, and one that must be preserved not just for hours, but for days or weeks across land, sea, and air. In Australia, shipments destined for the United States are often flown out of Brisbane or Sydney. At the airport, cargo is handled in a race against time. Workers in insulated uniforms load the crates into temperature-controlled holding bays before transferring them into the plane's lower deck. Air freight is fast but expensive, used primarily for premium fillets destined for restaurants and sushi bars. Ocean freight, though slower, carries the bulk of exports. On board massive container ships, reefers are plugged into the vessel's power supply and checked every few hours by engineers. If a unit malfunctions mid-journey, it must be repaired at sea, or the cargo could be written off entirely. But even before the fish reaches its export terminal, the inland journey poses its own set of challenges. In parts of India and Vietnam, old infrastructure complicates transport. Roads may be flooded, trucks delayed, or rural power grids unreliable. A 2023 case from Tamil Nadu highlighted this risk starkly. A shipment of 8 tons of Barramundi meant for Dubai was delayed at a rural checkpoint when a breakdown in the refrigeration unit went unnoticed for 4 hours. By the time the issue was detected, internal temperatures had risen to 5 degrees Celsius. The fish were rejected upon arrival, resulting in an estimated loss of nearly $60,000. That single failure reverberated through every link in the supply chain, from the farm workers who lost their bonus pay to the distributor who had to scramble for replacements. To prevent such disasters, producers have invested in real-time tracking systems. GPS-linked thermometers continuously monitor internal temperatures and upload data to cloud-based dashboards. If a truck's temperature rises unexpectedly, alerts are sent instantly to logistics managers. Some systems even integrate predictive analytics, warning teams when a unit's performance begins to dip, even before a malfunction occurs. This means dispatchers can reroute cargo or send replacement vehicles in advance, avoiding costly losses. However, technology can only go so far. Human expertise remains vital. Drivers trained to spot subtle signs of equipment failure, warehouse workers trained in rapid cold loading techniques, and customs agents trained in handling perishables all play a critical role. Even minor lapses in coordination can be fatal to freshness. That's why some export hubs now operate cold corridors, dedicated fast-track lanes for perishable goods, allowing Barramundi shipments to bypass standard customs queues and be processed in under 90 minutes. Yet for all its precision, the system is not invulnerable. Global events, from port strikes to pandemics, ripple across the network. In 2020, air cargo capacity collapsed, and fish exporters had to shift rapidly to sea freight, despite longer transit times. Some began stockpiling frozen fillets, while others developed hybrid models, shipping semi-frozen barramundi by sea, then flash-chilling it again upon arrival. Flexibility became the new currency of survival. Ultimately, getting barramundi to global markets isn't just about keeping things cold. It's about constant vigilance, strategic backups, and an infrastructure that thinks several steps ahead. Because no matter how advanced the cooling systems or how detailed the tracking data, one simple truth governs it all. Once the code is broken, there's no turning back. And so, through ice, wires, and willpower, the cold chain remains one of the most important and invisible guardians of global seafood trade. Hovering just above a shipping yard in Singapore, a technician checks his tablet. On the screen, dots blink across a digital map, each one a container of barramundi. Inside, sensors are measuring temperature, humidity, and even vibrations. If a box tilts too far, or a cold unit underperforms, the system sends an alert. It's not science fiction. It's standard practice in an industry where data may matter as much as ice. As global demand for seafood grows, producers are turning to smart logistics to preserve quality and outpace competitors. Take RFID tags, for example. These tiny chips, embedded in packaging, transmit information in real time: where the fish has been, how long it's been in transit, whether the cold has ever faltered. Some systems even log who handled the box last, adding a layer of traceability that deters fraud and ensures accountability. It's a digital trail for a perishable product, giving retailers and consumers alike the confidence that what they're eating is exactly what it claims to be. Traceability also links directly to food safety. By logging every stage from hatchery to delivery, distributors can isolate contamination risks with pinpoint accuracy. If an issue arises, affected batches can be identified and removed without recalling an entire shipment. This targeted approach reduces waste and protects reputations. In countries like Australia and Singapore, this level of visibility is increasingly a regulatory expectation, not a luxury. Meanwhile, packaging innovations are redefining what cold transport can achieve. Some high-end suppliers now use phase change materials, substances that maintain precise temperatures during melting or freezing. Unlike traditional gel packs, which gradually warm over time, these materials absorb and release thermal energy in predictable ways, stabilizing conditions even in extreme environments. Others rely on vacuum-insulated panels, thinner than a paperback book, but as effective as several inches of foam. These allow more fish to be packed in less space, improving efficiency without sacrificing safety. And in regions with fragile energy infrastructure, renewable solutions are gaining ground. Solar-powered cold rooms, like those adopted in parts of India and the Philippines, use battery storage to keep fish chilled, even during outages. They're not just environmentally friendly, they're often more reliable than diesel-based systems, especially during monsoon seasons when fuel supply routes can be disrupted. Innovation also touches how the fish are transported. In Southeast Asia, short-haul deliveries of live barramundi have become more common, particularly to high-end restaurants in Hong Kong and Singapore. These fish are moved in oxygenated tanks fitted with filtration and water quality monitoring systems. Upon arrival, they're transferred directly into restaurant aquariums where chefs select and prepare them within hours. It's the closest a diner can get to the ocean without leaving the city. But the most transformative shift may be invisible to the consumer: blockchain. With each transaction recorded in a secure, decentralized ledger, blockchain systems offer tamper-proof transparency. For buyers sourcing from multiple countries, this means verifiable data about where their fish came from, how it was stored, and whether it meets sustainability criteria. Companies are beginning to print QR codes on packaging that allow customers to trace their fillet's full life story, sometimes even showing the exact farm and harvest date. Compared to cold chains for other species, barramundi presents unique challenges and opportunities. Unlike salmon, which thrives in colder northern waters and benefits from well-established infrastructure in places like Norway and Chile, barramundi often originates in tropical zones with limited cold chain capacity. This gap has driven the need for faster innovation. It's why smallholder farmers in Vietnam might skip outdated infrastructure and leap straight to app-based inventory management or cloud-linked temperature monitors. While barramundi has long played a role in traditional diets across Asia and Australia, its rise in global markets is being shaped by its adaptability, not just in farming, but in transport. It tolerates higher stocking densities, grows quickly, and yields fillets that appeal to a wide range of culinary traditions. As its popularity grows, so does the pressure to ship it smarter, cleaner, and colder. What was once a local fish is now a global product, carried by fleets of refrigerated trucks, monitored by satellites, and traced with code. And though most consumers will never think twice about how their fish arrived, each fillet reflects the collective innovation of an entire ecosystem, a system that never sleeps, always chills, and constantly adapts to meet the hunger of the world. As the crate opens in a Paris kitchen or Tokyo market, the barramundi inside is still firm, still cold, still perfect. What looks like a simple fillet is the result of synchronized decisions made by farmers, drivers, coders, and customs agents across continents. From biometric checks at harvest to satellite-tracked containers, every detail has been calibrated for one goal: freshness without compromise. So next time you taste this mild, flaky fish, remember the human and technical orchestration behind it. Curious how other foods move across the planet? Click the next video on your screen and keep exploring the hidden world behind your plate.